It's not huge spikes necessarily, so if you can take advantage of the clean garbage you're given and send that back Promo's way, you may be able to win the day, and we'll have to see if EBUBU can do that in this match. Here's our warm-up.
Seems like Promo's going for a little bit of freestyle T-spins here. I'm not sure if that's an opener or not. Into a 9-0, and EBUBU is sending over a few spikes, just warming up, moving the fingers, you know.
Hey, it is the warm-up, so can't fault him for doing that. And speaking of warm-up, we can see that Promo is starting to warm up here, getting this clean garbage, being ready to send, and the back-to-back is starting to build already with that TSD TSS. We saw them wait to look for an opportunity to accept first, not finding it, and instead just launching that spike. And here we go. We're now into this LST pattern that is going to be so devastating for EBUBU. Times 11 back-to-back already, times 12. EBUBU still holding on though, finding a nice multiplier, times 13. Promo greeting for an STSD, forced to break back-to-back, and this is a great time for EBUBU to capitalize. They have 5 back-to-back of their own, and they are sending Promo all the way to the top, getting access to the clean garbage, but not enough. EBUBU takes the warm-up.
Holy, I will say, like we mentioned before, EBUBU is really going to need to use timing for that, and we just saw them implement it right now. EBUBU waiting for Promo to send, and then putting on the pressure with the garbage they received. So, very smart plays from EBUBU. We'll have to see if that's going to work in the actual game here, but surely Promo is not going to make it an easy time for EBUBU.
Absolutely, but the chink in the armor is revealed. Promo is not invincible, so we'll have to see if EBUBU can play smart and exploit that weakness, using it to their advantage.
Alright, GLH ups are flying in the chat, and lines will be too as well. Hopefully, we see a good game from both players here.
Alright, and here we go. The PCO coming out from EBUBU, not going to find the PC. Meanwhile, Promo is opening with some very, very clean upstack. As we have back-to-back times 4 already, you can see the wait by Promo to attempt to maintain it, but EBUBU, just as aware as Promo is, not going to let him get any sort of start on this back-to-back chain. And in fact, EBUBU is starting some back-to-back of their own with a great garbage to do it. That is 7 times 8 already with the 20 spike, but commits to the spike and unfortunately sacrifices the back-to-back in progress. And that is going to give Promo an opportunity to get out and get down. That may have been EBUBU's one and only chance in this round. We'll have to see, but so far, EBUBU has done an excellent job of demonstrating what you need to do to beat Promo, but Promo is just getting started.
Very unfortunate misdrop to end for EBUBU there, but I will say, I don't even know if you can fault EBUBU, because those fractals and the spikes on the well were absolutely insane, and I'm not really sure how else they could have implemented things. EBUBU going for the second PC though, going into the DPC. The third PC comes through into the PCO, but it doesn't seem like we're going to get the fourth PC off for Promo. Promo is coming back with a vengeance, building up a couple T-spins and trying to skim down to escape from their predicament here.
Alright, and here we go. This is a great opportunity for Promo to get something started. Times 6 back-to-back is online. The 6-3 that we know and fear is here. But unfortunately, the back-to-back not going to be able to stay for very long because Promo is looking so cheesed up. Gets rid of it and now is sitting on a lot of clean, but EBUBU has taken that opportunity to get all the way back down. And again, we are in a position where Promo really wants to get this APM train rolling, but EBUBU's not really giving him the chance, but Promo may be finding that chance. Times 9, times 10 back-to-back already. A 37 spike. A massive amount of damage to contend with. EBUBU finds a great down stack, but even that is going to give Promo too much time to pile on the excess damage. That is 2-0 Promo.
Absolutely. Yeah, speaking of the excess damage though, the back-to-back multiplier for Promo is so high at that point that EBUBU really couldn't do anything to counteract it. So a big point for EBUBU here is going to be breaking Promo's back-to-back or forcing them to cancel out of it in order for them to get a fighting chance here. Speaking of fighting chance though, EBUBU trying to get a bit more of a fighting chance though with this STSD. 12 spike to Promo, pushing Promo to the top of the board, but Promo has a fantastic down stack, going back down and setting up for even more attacks. A 20 spike from Promo, right into a counter spike from EBUBU yet again.
Yeah, and speaking of EBUBU's board is looking very clean here, but unfortunately so is Promo's, and Promo's all the way back down at the bottom of the board, cheesing EBUBU up in the process, and now EBUBU needs to downstack fast before Promo starts getting set up. You can see the upstack beginning, that TSS looked for a counter to 4 but not going to find it, and the back-to-back is not online. EBUBU has had a chance to get out. That is great news for EBUBU, and that is going to mean that they have one more shot to try and stop Promo's APM, but unfortunately, honestly, just one piece of greed was all that Promo needed there. If they had skimmed with the J piece, they would have had a way out, but just that one poor decision was all Promo needed to take that round.
Absolutely. Speaking of taking rounds though, EBUBU trying to take this round, going to the DPC, but a little bit too slow, and it means that Promo is able to continue into the mid-game, surviving the opener onslaught of EBUBU. But on EBUBU's side though, building up some pretty nice T-spins on the well. Promo's got a really nice cancel, going into a 16 spike, but EBUBU has cancelled as well, so the game is going to be continuing on for both players. Exchanging rounds back-to-back. 13 back-to-back for EBUBU though. And unfortunately the greed was a little bit too much, and Promo was able to counteract that with a nicely timed punish.
Yeah, and here we go. It is 4-0 Promo. The momentum is in his favor, and EBUBU needs to change something and change it fast if they want to get a way back in this match. We know EBUBU has the potential to take rounds. It's just about picking the right moments to capitalize, and there was no moment to pick there except for Promo to make it 5-0.
Absolutely. Bad Goblin, if you're in EBUBU's situation here, if you're in their shoes, what would you do differently to come back from this 5-0 lead?
I think you've just got to commit even harder to timing. Things like opener, things like trying to build up back-to-back of your own, none of that's going to be very effective against Promo, who's kind of just going to outdo you in those categories. You have got to just try and time and do this counter spike that's going to instantly kill. I feel like it's sort of the only way against Promo to realistically take rounds.
That's a pretty solid explanation. We'll have to see if EBUBU is able to utilize that timing, or are they just going to try and spam APM back at Promo here?
Alright, and speaking of APM, Promos is starting to climb 10 back-to-back, 11 times 12, but wastes the T, not going to be able to make it any higher, and EBUBU looking for the downstack, but Promo going to finish it off with 178 APM, of pressure coming out to bring it to 6-0.
Yeah, I will say that Promo had a really good play breaking the back-to-back, knowing that they can have enough pressure to top out EBUBU even without it. It's a lot of board knowledge being displayed there to know the kind of situation your opponent is in at the moment. But speaking of situations though, it seems like Promo has a really nice board to capitalize on, all in a 9-0 well, super clean, spiking over to EBUBU, who cancels back on their own in a pretty solid fashion.
Yeah, and there we go. EBUBU is kind of back in it, but Promo's misdrop is going to put them definitely all the way back in it, and now is a great opportunity to try and set up the spike, going for some pressure here, but Promo is going to be able to find his way out, opening up the well there and getting a nice combo down to this clean garbage. EBUBU sitting a little bit high up, and yeah, Promo going to capitalize there, having sped up to 4.02 PPS. That burst speed coming in clutch there to capitalize on a round where even if Promo didn't have a lot of back-to-back online, the awareness was there to just see one mistake from EBUBU and capitalize to take the round, and that is one of the things that makes Promo so scary to play against. And another is this 270 APM LST, oh my goodness!
Yeah, it's almost at 5 PPS, 4.7 versus EBUBU's just 4. Still, both these players are super fast, exchanging lines. EBUBU 14 spiked at Promo, but Promo's board is so clean. A 16 spike coming from Promo, and we're going to see even more. Back-to-back 25 from Promo. This is insane. And a 16 spike is going to be clutching out the 8th round for Promo. EBUBU really needs one to get on the board here, or else it could be game over for them.
This dude is playing quick play. This is not a 1v1 match. What was that? What do you mean 25 plus back-to-back in a versus match against one of the best players in the world? That's Promo energy right there. That is insane. And hey, that's just what Promo has to do to get as good as he is, and that is exactly why EBUBU is going to need to make a change if they want a way back into this match. And right now, that change is going to be changing how high up you are on the board, as you're in a very rough spot to accept garbage, and Promo sitting on clean, a fractal, and time 7 back-to-back.
Yeah, I do think that Promo's APM and downstacking are a little bit too much for EBUBU right now. We really need to see that timing coming out from them, or else it's just completely finished. I don't think EBUBU has the chance to take it back with APM spam here.
Alright, and now EBUBU is starting to build up a clean stack, but Promo has already got one over on his side and sends over a huge spike with this 8 back-to-back. It is sweet potential here, 10-0, and if there is ever a moment that EBUBU needs to change it up, it would be right now, but Promo is looking to close things out with that misdrop. Not going to be doing them any favors. EBUBU has the next PC, and this is a great opportunity. Does manage to put it on the board. No sweep for Promo, and that is 110 EBUBU.
You know what, honestly, we could be seeing the beginnings of the reverse sweep here. Maybe EBUBU has it figured out. But I will say that was heavily contingent on Promo misdropping there, so it could be tough to do that consistently for the rest of the games. EBUBU trying to build up a little bit more back-to-back. Just clear up the board, keep it super clean and super defensive here. Really nice upstack funnel from EBUBU, but unfortunately not enough cancel to cancel out the back-to-back 7 from Promo, and Promo is taking the game.
Yeah, unfortunately, EBUBU going to have one chance to take it and going to take it, but no chances, no more. And that's going to be Promo 11-1. No sweep, but still obviously a very solid win over EBUBU there. We can see the stat diff. And you know what else we can see? We can see Promo moving on to winners round 3 of Group A, playing the winner of Back Chess and Ding.